Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger, my friends. Today for Guilty Gear Strive, we are talking the training mode. Now, I know training mode, it's not cool, fun, and sexy like big combos, big set play, just all the fancier stuff you associate with fighting games. But if you want to get good at fighting games, training mode is where you gotta go because you need to learn. Now, all things considered, Guilty Gear Strive actually has a pretty fully featured training mode, and the purpose of this video is just to help you understand the options that are there available to you so you can maximize your training mode time and learn the most that you can about the game. Now, one of the most key things here in training mode is also pretty easy to set up, and that's simply to get the enemy to do whatever you want them to do. And how do we accomplish that? Well, first we want to go here into our button settings, and it's very handy here because it's all right there for you. So we have a play and record setting, and you want to bind these to whatever buttons make sense for you. And if you want to get rid of them just, after training mode, you can just change them again. But yeah, bind these to some buttons that are just whatever makes sense, and then we'll go from there. So right here, the first time you hit record, it actually doesn't record anything yet. It's just you taking control of the enemy. So if you just need to control the enemy for whatever reason, it is there for you. Now when you double tap record, that's when it starts recording. So you can see here, I'm just walking back and forth. The third time you do it, finishes recording. As you can see here, save to slot 1. And when you hit the play button, well, it just plays whatever you did. So say common setup, one thing I've used personally quite a bit is testing out various anti-air setups, right? So if I record the enemy here to do an instant air dash and attack at me here, all right, well now I can learn how to defend myself from it, right? And there's very interesting things like, can I beat it with basic buttons, or do I have to rely on my forward punch anti-air button, or can I get really crazy and try heavier buttons, but maybe you get counter hit, right? These are the kind of things where you learn your timing, you learn your specificity. You just keep having the enemy come at you with whatever it is you want to test, and just do it over and over and over till you learn everything you need to know about it and all the options you have either to defend yourself against it or how to beat it outright. And one of the big things here too is when we save stuff here, it says save to slot number 1. There is multiple slots, so if we go into training settings and into recording settings, there's all sorts of slots to work with here, right? So if we save a move here to slot number 2 specifically, and so we'll be like dash into throw, something like that. There we go, right? Now saving the slot number 2. So that's our move. We also have here, we are able to wait it because we can actually have random slots play. So now when I hit the play button, I don't know what it's going to be. It could be slot number 1, it could be slot number 2. I have used the numbers here to weight it, so more often than not, it'll be slot number 2 than slot number 1, but you get to choose however you want to do that. And now it could be this air dash, or it could be the throw, and I don't know which one's going to be which, because it's just going to be random. And once again, it's slightly weighed towards the throw, but random being random, we're getting more jumps, right? But yeah, that's kind of the thing. So if you're looking to defend yourself from multiple options and you just don't want to know which one is coming, you can also just have random attacks come your way, and then you can just defend yourself accordingly to prepare yourself for real match situations. And while we're here, now most of you people watching are using the game with a PlayStation controller, but just in case not here, you go to your button settings and you go to reset positions. If you're on PlayStation, it's default to the touchpad, but you can bind to whatever you want. And resetting positions is super good because maybe you're over here and you want to be center, right? So just hit your button, and also if you hit left and the button or right and the button, it'll automatically put you in the corresponding corner. So very easy if you just want to practice your corner combos or practice your get out of the corner combos or whatever. Hit down and the touchpad or whatever button you have it bound to also reset back to the middle of the screen. It's just a small thing, but you're going to be using it all the time. Now, inside training mode, there is so many helpful features here. In training settings here, everything helps. So we'll just go through a bunch of them here, and we'll start with display settings. This is pretty basic. It's purely visual information here. So say we want our input history on, we'll hit display. And now the left side of the screen, whatever buttons we're pressing, it's all there, right? So if you're just doing combos and say you're dropping the combo and you want to see what the culprit is, usually just by going by what the button presses are, you can see if you added too many buttons to it, or perhaps too little, or too slow, or whatever. This is always handy. Also, speaking of handy, is damage information display, because it probably helps to know how much damage you're doing, right? when you're looking for those big sick combos, the amount of damage you're putting out is super key to say the least, right? Also, like, you know, little things like, hey, the wall break does an extra 36 damage in this instance, and just all the info that is available to you is always a godsend. Also, if you're looking to take pretty screenshots, because I do this for thumbnails and stuff, right, for YouTube, if you want to turn off gauge display, well, then you'll just get the game clean as day. You won't have to worry about anything else. That is also, at least for aesthetics, important. Now, let's get into some of the big boy stuff here. So the opponent status. A lot of what you need to learn about the game is in here. From simple stuff here like counter hit. Counter hit combos are a big part of the game. There's something you're going to want to practice a lot, because a lot of combos and like a lot of things, they're only possible on counter hit, right? Like these two close slashes together, I could not do without the counter hit. They would not work normally. And then from there, I can practice my cool little counter hit only combo, right? So that saves you a lot of time and effort. Also, one of the handy things is, on top of being forced counter hits, you can set it to random. Because, you know, in a real live fire situation here, sometimes you're not always getting the counter hit, because they're just gonna not hit a button, right? And you got to be prepared for situations where you will get it and then go from there, as you can see. So nice little hicking from there, because I was waiting for the counter hit flash. And putting it to random will help train you to wait and see and visually assess those counter hits. Another very core basic feature here is an opponent status. Go to stance. You want them standing? Do you want them crouching? Do you want them jumping or super jumping? These are the things you can set up. Also important in this game, because there are some combos that only work on crouching opponents, so that's very handy to know, right? But yeah, so that's pretty basic. Also, naturally, blocking, right? A lot of times you want to test up your setups against someone who's blocking, and of course from there you can have guard after the first hit. So if you're doing like a little bit of pressure here, they'll only guard after the first initial hit, or conversely, guard only first hit, so they'll only block the first move, and successive moves they will not block. And naturally, you can set it to random as well. Block switching is basically, are they going to stand up or crouch to block? So I have it on all guard right now. So if I hit them with an overhead, they'll block. If I hit them with a low, they'll block. But if I have it here and block switching is disabled, so right now they're standing, so they'll block the overhead fine, right? But they will not block that sweep. So if you're looking to test high-low setups, that's also pretty important. And many more options yet, as you can see, but those are some of the more key ones here. Another very key setting here is we go to our training settings here, and we go to counterattack settings. This might be where you spend a lot of your time, actually. It's very in-depth here. So we have our settings here, and we see after block, after hit, after recovery, after throw break, after position reset. And there's multiple actions you can choose from this as well. And you can set 3 actions per, and 1, 2, 3, or random. So say after block, this is a basic one here. So after block, we have all these options. General movement, we have normal attacks here, crouching normal attacks, aerial special attacks here, this is character to character, and all that. And we can just set anything we want them to do after a simple block. So let's say punch, right? There we go. So now whenever the enemy blocks, they'll go for a punch, as you can see there. Giovanna is going for a quick little punch. And what can we learn from that? Well, we can learn a lot of things, like what's punishable. Like Potemkin Hammerfall here. Oh, punch says punish. Now, just through this information alone, I now know this move is punishable on block. Now, let's try this again here. Mega Fist. Punish. Okay, punishable on block. But let's get a little trickier here. We're going to Mega Fist from a bit further out. Oh, okay. So they can punish me if I do it too close. But if I space the move correctly, then no longer can they punish me due to the pushback on the move. So that's super key in and of itself, just that knowledge right there. And that's what we learned just off standing punch. We learned, okay, certain moves can be safe, certain moves can be unsafe. We now have that knowledge. And once again, we got everything we can work with here. Now, how about this? After recovery. So this is after they wake up. Once again, we'll just be as basic can be. Set it to punch. And then we're going to throw them here. And they wake up, they're going to punch. So now, off this, I can now learn, like, what setups can I do when they're waking up from a throw? Am I going to do something too slow? Okay, well, if I do something too slow, they'll beat me, right? But if I do something kind of quick, maybe I'll trade. Or even better, if I time it better, then I can learn through this setting, oh, I can counter hit them. So now I know if they wake up buttons, and generally speaking, people stand punch is their fastest button, I can learn to defeat their wake up, as you can see there. But also in this setting here, we can set a lot of normal things like backdash. Now I can also learn to define holes in my game plan, because now I know I can beat their punch, but if I try the same thing, they can just backdash it. So now I have to wonder, okay, well, now if I do this and I know they can defeat it by backdash, well, what's the options here? Well, then I can just, walk up, wait for the backdash, and sweep them. That's fine. Now, once again here now, we can set punch and backdash, and we'll set it to random. Now I don't know which one's going to be which. So if I try to beat the punch, okay, they can backdash it. And if I try to beat the backdash, oh, they punched me because I was waiting for the backdash, trying to, just hit it with a sweep, right? So these are the things that can just help you assess a lot of variables. Now I know this is a little dry, right? This isn't super exciting, right? But this is really key stuff, right? Just simple things like every situation you can want for an opponent's reaction after a block, after hit, after recover, after taking a throw, after possession reset. That's like when you start a round. All these things are super key. So let's throw you position reset. So action 1 after position reset here, we're going to have her go for the move here, Travail, which is basically her spiral arrow, right? So every time I reset training mode here, she'll go for the move immediately. So this is like basically a round 1 start position, right? So we now can learn, okay, if she's going to do this as her first move, what can I do to beat it? And in this case, if I see it coming, I can just jab her out of it, right? But in a lot of cases, knowing what you can do at the start of a round is super key and could dictate the pace of the match. And thanks to training mode, this is something you can just test rapid fire over and over and over and eventually learn very specific situations for it, right? One of the more fun things is just as a little time saver. You don't have to go all the way back to character select. You actually can go to change character and then just change your characters from there. It's literally that easy. So we hit our button, apply the changes, boom. We'll have the same stage and all that, but otherwise we have completely different characters. Didn't have to go back to character select. Just a nice little quality of life change. Now going from there, character specific. Some characters have special stuff and we can deal with that in character specific settings. Specifically, we have Kai and we have Zato because they are two of the people here. So Kai, we can always have shock state on. So now we don't have to hit him with an electric move, have the shock state. It's just always on. So we can see a lot of the particulars about how that can affect things like chip damage and all that. Also, for Kai, he does have the dragon install, so we can have it here. That's just always on. Don't got to worry about it. Don't got to manually enter it. You don't have to change your health values or whatever. It's just always on, so that can just save a lot of time. Same here, Zato. So Zato, he summons Eddie, and the thing is that bar will drain pretty quick while you're just testing stuff out. But if we were to use our setting, so for Zato here, the Eddie life gauge, we'll set it to infinite. So now we don't really have to worry about it ever running out. We can just play with it. Doesn't matter. Eddie is going to go away until we make him go away, right? So if you're just looking to mess around and just see how everything works, this will make your life a lot easier. Once again, there's a lot of things for a lot of characters here. So this is for Axel, this is for Faust, this is for Nagoriyuki. So not every character has specific stuff, but for the ones that do, this is very helpful. And there is even more stuff to go through. There's a lot of fiddly bits. If you want to go to the gauge settings, you can set HP regeneration off or on. So if you want to see how it plays out more like a regular match, also set health values, set meter values. I can have everything always be maxed out for my meter forever and just spend. That's fine. But yeah, that's a lot of the core basics of the stuff you need to know for training mode. If you want to get serious about this game, you're going to be spending a decent amount of time here because you got to practice your combos at the bare minimum, learn your setups, learn how to defend against other people's combos and setups because that's also half the battle, right? And training mode will become a dear friend to you for sure. So don't be scared to enter in here. For me, myself, when I'm in big on training mode, I'll put on YouTube and put on a music playlist or something and just get really into it. Because honestly, training mode can be fun. I know for a lot of people, they just want to get in there and smash buttons, but once you start really digging deep into a game, training mode can be almost, if not as fun as the actual game itself, because learning how a game works and just dissecting all the pieces, especially with a wide variety of characters and such a varied cast in this game, and all the crazy mechanics as we've gone over in other videos, training mode can just be a blast as well. So that all said, my friends, that's it for this video. Training mode, learn to love it. You're gonna be here for a bit. And that all said, that's it for me. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. Go out and play some Guilty Gear.